What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel for the RX-7. No, we're not in Moscow. We're actually in my garage, and it's about I don't know, 15-20 degrees in here. It's cold. You know, you could hang some meat. You could build a nice little igloo in here. I don't know if it's that cold, but it's pretty chilly in here because it's only like 14 degrees outside. So, yay, Midwest winter. Great. Anyways, I want to do a quick little update. I know I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, and I apologize for that. So, nothing tremendous has gone on with the RX-7 the last 30 days or so, except, however, my birthday was January 22nd, and thankfully I was able to go home to Georgia to see my side of the family for a 2.5-3 day weekend. And so that was a lot of fun. And thankfully, I actually got some birthday money and was finally able to purchase my adapter plate for the big block Chevy bell housing to my Ford Case V6 Camaro T5. So I will show you that right now. Here is the transmission and the bell housing and the adapter plate all together. It is not finally bolted up all the way, but I wanted to show you what it looks like. So, oh, it's very cold on my leg. So here's the bell housing, or here's the adapter. So this is what it looks like. It's got 3 countersunk bolts. I don't remember what the threads were, and 1 bolt that or 1 hole that was threaded that you have to drill inside the bell housing, and that's your 4th mounting point for the plate to the bell housing. And then I also put red Loctite on these 3 bolts and torque them to the required 15 foot-pounds according to the directions. This is made by Modern Driveline. I believe they are out of Idaho. And this is part number MD-401-2200, which is the Muncie Chevy bell housing pattern to Ford Case T5 adapter, basically. So exactly what I was looking for. They were very helpful. I emailed back and forth a couple of times with them and told them exactly what I was doing, and this is what they recommended. And kind of an interesting feature of this transmission is it is cocked sideways to the I guess towards the driver's side, like 7 degrees or something. So if you look really close, if this, what would be the top mounting bolt, was top dead 12 o'clock, these 4 smaller bolts would be cocked 7 or 17 degrees, I forget. I can do it with my camera, obviously, but anyways, and I've already test fit it once. The instructions said to test it on the transmission first and just kind of finger tighten it down, and this countersunk hole matches up perfectly with the flange here for the input of the transmission. So that was the one thing I always wondered about adapter plates, was what do you do with the shortened length of your input shaft? Doesn't that affect engagement, clutch engagement, and things of that nature? I didn't realize that was kind of like countersunk and works perfectly. So that was awesome. So then the second part of the instructions obviously were to bolt it to the bell housing and drill that hole and get it all mounted up. And then stage 3 will be actually putting it on the transmission, which it'll go on like that. And then you got your 4 holes, 1 or 2 there, 2 on this side, and that's what'll finally fasten it to it. So that's exciting. That was $176 shipped to the house. The bell housing, I was looking back on my eBay purchases, and the bell housing was $169. So all in all, I have $595 into my T5 transmission swap adaptation for LS1. So this is so far the cheapest or I should say least expensive option for a budget build manual transmission LS swap. So I know a lot of the stuff you're going to read about the T5 is negative, that it's weak, that it blows up with anything more than 300 foot-pounds of torque, 300 horsepower added to it. I don't know yet. I've heard plenty of Mustang guys with the T5 push 400 or 500 horsepower, and if you're not doing 6,000 RPM clutch dump launches at the drag strip on super sticky 30-inch tires or whatever, you're probably not going to be snapping too much. I mean, this is literally just going to be a weekend fun car, and occasionally take it to the to Indianapolis for speedrome drifting or something like that. So that's what I'm building it for. Is strictly just for fun. Just for fun. It's just for fun. So anyways, that was really exciting. Let's see, there was one more thing I was going to show you, and it has left me temporarily. So at work, most of basically all my really good tools are at work because I'm a fleet mechanic, so that has to be there. But at work we have quick connect air hose fittings, and here at home I have just my good old Harbor Freight 21 gallon compressor, which it's not bad, but it doesn't give my tools the proper balls they need to do what I need them to do, like how they work at work. Evidently has something to do with the CFM. I didn't read into that too much. I was just trying to get a stand-up compressor that I oiled that would last long, but I mean, it does pretty good. Like it just has to run a lot and very often, but it's not too bad. But anyways, I have just your standard fittings here for the air chuck. So what I did, I thought it was quite genius. This is like what we have at work. Oh, sorry, that's our baby monitor for little man. It's just him and me this weekend, so I'm keeping an eye on him from the garage. Anyways, so at work, this is the fittings we have. So you can see it's different. It takes a longer air fitting. So basically, I just made an adapter with a home air fitting that goes into the home hose, and then the work quick connect fitting that goes into my tools, because it was getting annoying bringing my impact or my die grinder or whatever home from work, and having to swap out the tips anytime I brought it home. That I would forget and get to work and couldn't find a tip, and then my tool would be down. So I asked if I could have one to make an adapter, and it was very simple. So now I can bring my tools home and hook it up here and do whatever I need to do and bring it back to work and not have to worry about switching the tips out. So that was cool. Let's see, not much news has been going on with the LS. It's just sitting on the stand waiting for me to get some more parts. I do still have a water pump in the box, LS1 water pump in there. I do still really want to do a cam, nothing crazy. BTR makes a really nice truck cam, a stage 4, that gives you a similar idle, or I think it sounds a lot like a Bridgeported rotary, which, being an RX-7, it would be awesome to have something that sounded a little bit like a Bridgeported rotary. So I still need to get my LS1/LS6 style intake. I still need an LS1 crank pulley or dampener. I do have the water pump, and I do have the throwout bearing, and I do have the little heater bypass hose that goes on the water pump. So I do have a few small parts. Now it's starting to get into the, I need bigger parts and more expensive parts. I think I'm going to paint the valve covers again. I've been going back and forth on colors of the car, and this view in the garage doesn't really do much justice, but I was thinking this kind of satin blue for a while, and then I was kind of thinking this metallic blue. If you can kind of see how the light shines against it versus shining against this, it's a little bit different. And then I was thinking just a championship white type, Honda white. I love a clean white car, and I would love at some point to go full aero and do all that good stuff, but also I want to kind of keep it simple. So I've already erased part of the pinstripe here. I mean, you can still see a little bit of the residue. I hadn't got the residue off, but there was an ugly black pinstripe that went all the way back, and do still have the factory molding, which is a signature to the S4 chassis. But what's kind of funny is with this S5 bumper, they actually had blended painted trim work, or if you even want to call it that, or molding. It's not even really molding, it's just body lines. So I think what I'm going to do, I found a picture online I really like of an FC that's all white, that's an S4, that has an S5 front, but they painted all the molding black and painted this ring around the bumper cover black, and it looks really good actually in my opinion. So I might do something like that once I finally figure out a color. I mean, hell, I might even go back with this kind of silver bluish, I don't know. It's very 80s, very much looks like a DeLorean in my opinion. But what I was thinking was, once I pick out a color, if I don't do aero, I do want to do some sort of lip on that S5 front bumper. Maybe like a S13 pig nose front bumper, kind of fit on there. Because I recently discovered the JDM turbo models have just ever so slightly extended side skirts, and I think it looks phenomenal with the factory lip on the S5 bumper. But I've looked up those side skirts, and they're roughly $400 on eBay, plus $125 for shipping. So $500 and $550 for OEM side skirts is just absolutely asinine. Not on a budget build car. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So if I can find a cheaper set, I might go that route, or I might even make some. There's a gentleman on YouTube, I think it's called Petrol 360, who has a 5-liter Explorer V8 swapped into his 86, 87 RX-7. And he's running Phytech EFI system on there, and it's really, really nice build for just to do it yourself or in your driveway, in your garage type deal. So it's a nice car, sounds great. Oops. Okay, I thought I turned the camera off for a second. So anyways, he has a nice little video of him making his own side skirts out of rain guards, like for your house, like for your gutters. And it actually turns out really nice. So I might keep that in mind. And I do want to run, I think, the ZG style fender flares, like what you see on the old school Toyotas and old 240Zs and stuff like that. I'm thinking about doing those on the body. I think that would look nice, especially with the please excuse all the trash on the back of my car. Especially with the factory duckbill spoiler. I think that would look really cool. And then I think I'm going to keep the S4 tail lights. As I've talked about in previous videos, the S5 tail lights are awesome. They're very nice. They're very desirable, but not for the $300 and $400 or $500 price tags that people want for them. So S4 works just fine for me. I mean, they've got their own style. They're functional. They do what they need to do. Red up top, amber on the sides, reverse in the middle. I mean, they're still in good shape. They're clean. They're not chipped, anything like that. They're really, really clear. So probably just run those. But on eBay, I found a really, really nice rear splitter that goes on the back there. That I don't know. I just think about this stuff constantly. I'm a little obsessed. But so basically, my idea is front lip spoiler on the S5 front bumper. Some sort of, if I can find some cheap Japanese model turbo side skirts, I'll snag them up. Otherwise, I'll make some and run the ZG style fender flares, like the bolt-on style, 240Z looking fender flares. Keep the factory duckbill, maybe even add a roof wing. That's just my hood on top of my roof, but maybe add one of those roof wings to match the duckbill, the factory duckbill, and then the rear splitter. And then I'm going to have my single dolphin tail muffler exiting on probably the driver's side. So that's my ideas for the body. I'm still stuck on trying to figure out a color. I really like a dark midnight blue or a dark, navy blue, however you want to say it. Kona blue is the Ford color from the I think 2011 and up Mustangs, and it's gorgeous. I love it. It's my favorite color. But also the new Jeep Cherokees and I guess Grand Cherokees have awesome dark blue as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for color wise. Inside I'm probably going to do either just after I get the sound deadening's gone. There's just the little speckles here and there that I just need to take the wire wheel to, just grind them down and vacuum it out and paint it. As you can see, it's pretty empty in there, but I still have the factory door cards. I still have all the roof liner. I don't remember if I still have the plastics for the A-pillars or not. If I do, I might put those back. But I think for the floor, I'm either going to do gloss black, or they make a fun speckle paint for like trunks or hoods. I saw it at Napa when I used to work there. They have a black that has like white and pink and blue and green speckles, and then they make a green that has like blue, white, red, I guess black little speckles in it. It's like a texture paint, like a bed liner, and I think it looks really cool. So I might do the inside floors and everything that's exposed with that. I did a little welding. I think I showed you that in the last video. I got two more holes right here. You can't really see it. I don't have a light, but there's a hole right here. There's a teeny little hole right next to it. So two holes right there. I just need to cut those out and patch them up. And then probably get some of that POR 15 rust converter stuff. And basically, hopefully, stop it from rusting any further. But that's really as bad as it gets. There's not that much worse other than the factory brake line and fuel line is a little crusty underneath. So I plan on replacing those anyways. So I think once I settle down on an exterior color, I may or may not keep this engine base silver. I painted, basically this area, the shock towers, a little bit of the firewall, and if you look really close, it pretty much stops about halfway. So that's as far as my can took me. So I wanted to keep it a light enough color so when I was at the track doing events, if I ever came up with a leak, I would be able to see it right away and hopefully be able to fix it. But I'm not going to be running any coolant lines, anything like that. Just I have a bypass on the water pump for the heater line, so I'm not going to have any of that. I may or may not run the factory ARX7 oil cooler on this engine setup. So basically just going to have a spin-on filter, on the factory F-body oil pan I have. And, it's just going to be super simple setup. So I guess I could get away with a black engine bay if I wanted to. But, I might throw a little flare in there. I was going to do anodized purple for a while, but that was just way too much. So if I go blue on the body, I'll keep the engine bay silver for reasons I just stated. If I go white on the body, I might change up the engine bay color. I'm not sure. Because my door cards and plastics and my dash is gray. Well, actually, I thought it was more blue, but I guess it really is gray, so I can probably get away with some more grayish type colors. But the kind of the graphics in there in the door pan material, I can not scratch my door anymore with my diff in a bucket. Move my diff in a bucket. So yeah, I don't know if this camera does it much justice, but it's kind of a gray blue or blue gray. So I thought about even, gunmetal gray at one point, which may or may not work still, but I would be scared to get it in, or to get it, like do the car gunmetal and then have blue inside. Like that would just look really silly to me. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards blue on the exterior to still go with some of those little interior panels that I'm going to keep. And then I think that would work okay with the silver under the hood. Just, obviously take the fenders off and, paint from this area outward. Actually do the headlights for real, like sand them, prime them, paint them. The bumper, take the taillights and flash it past lenses out and all that good stuff. And then finally I can wire in my S5 turn signals to go on the front, which, it's going to be just barely street legal, so I guess I still got to have turn signals. But that's where I'm at so far. I wish I could say that I had the diff back in or the engine mounts made. I got started on them. It got super duper cold last week. We had our polar vortex. come through the Midwest. So we had -20 ambient temperature, and then I think it got down to -50 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill. So it was super duper cold last week. So there definitely was no car work being done at all, because that means even in the garage it was still below zero. So yeah, the cars were barely starting. It was just miserable, and we had to work. Thankfully, we didn't have to go outside too much, but it was unbearably cold, like especially for a Georgia boy, I'm telling you. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I'm hoping to get some time, get a weekend here soon to at least get the engine and the transmission together, just temporarily to mock up the mounts. And then once I feel good about those, hopefully I'll have a little money saved. I can go ahead and get my clutch and flywheel kit, get my throwout bearing put in, make up the hydraulic lines for that, because I'm going to have to adapt the GM throwout bearing to the Mazda clutch line, so that'll be fun. But I have a couple of ideas on how to do that. Also, the pilot bearing has to go into the crank at the end of this motor. One of my good friends in Georgia is selling all of his LS stuff. He was going to be doing an LS 240, and I'm heartbroken to say that he is selling everything. And I'm heartbroken about that because I'm not going to have an LS bro. But also, I don't have any extra money right now to buy some of that stuff, because he has some great stuff. I mean, he has a comp cam, a full valve train set up from comp cams. He's got freshly machined, I think 243 heads. He's got an LS6 intake, throttle body, injectors, basically everything I need to accessorize my engine. And unfortunately, I don't have the extra money right now to send down there to give him. So probably going to have to miss out on that, unfortunately. But, I mean, luckily these are a dime a dozen type deal. So hopefully I'll be able to get some parts here, maybe going into spring. Oh, my wife is going to be getting a part-time job, so shout out to her. She was telling me the other day that she really wants to help support my dream of having this car, built and enjoyable. So she's actually going to be doing some online teaching kids in China over the internet. So that's really cool. So shout out to you, babe. Thank you very much for your help and for your support. I appreciate it tremendously. So that'll be cool. That'll actually help hopefully get some, a few more parts here more often. So maybe we can have this car running. Of course, I would love to have it running by this summer, but realistically, probably summer next year. Just to get everything done, to get the painting done, to get the suspension and brakes done, the plumbing, the fuel and brake lines. I'm going to be focusing on, going forward from this point on clutch kit, engine and transmission mounts, drive shaft. The differential is basically ready. There's a broken off bolt in the case that I have to air hammer out, but basically just reseal that back up, and that can go back in the car. And then probably one of the last things will be getting the exhaust made. I was on the fence about trying to find some long tubes that I liked, because a high RPM screaming LS motor with long tubes just sounds fantastic. But the one thing about, if it's going to be drifted, or if it's going to be, raced in any way, sometimes the transmission has to come out. And in my experience with like Mustangs and stuff like that in the past, it is a big pain to try to pull a transmission if you have long tubes. So I found some early model S10/Sonoma S15 LS swap shorty headers that are similar in design to, like the truck manifolds I have with the downpipes, if you will. But I think they're equal length actually, and they're not much over $100. So, it's worth $100 to try it, and if it works, awesome. I got some decently priced shorty headers, and I can get, some of the sound I want and some of the performance I want for the price I can afford. So, I'm sorry, that was cheesy and stupid, but anyways, you guys take care. Keep the likes and subscriptions coming. If you ever have any questions or suggestions or ideas or personal experience of something you've gone through with your swap, or a friend that you helped, or whatever that you can throw my way that might be of some use to me, send it my way. I'd appreciate it. I did change the name of the channel from my name to Reese Motorsports. So if this ever turns into something, which I doubt it will, but if it ever turns into something and I have my own race car shop someday, it will probably be called Reese Motorsports. So that is unofficially trademarked and registered, so do not touch it. And that's all I have for you. So have a great weekend. Talk to you guys soon. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some more work done here. Thanks.